Do you want to see something really cool today? We're going to check out these fans from VXRAB. Don't try to pronounce that. You can't do it anyways, and it doesn't really matter. And I bought this as a 3-pack of fans. It also includes the controller, which we'll take a look at here in just a second. You can also buy this as a single fan, so you can upgrade and add to this particular kit. VXRAB, again, it's just one of these Amazon generic no-name brands. But they come in black, white, and grigio. I'm not sure what color that is. I'll have to look that up. Now, the fan itself is just a basic generic fan. It's a 120 millimeter fan. Maximum RPM is 1,650. I don't see any specification for the pressure on these fans, so I have no idea what that is. The sound rating is 21.60 dBA, and it rates it at 0.30 amps for the power draw, which sounds about right for just the power and the lighting that goes with this. They are rating the airflow at 56.98 CFM. Now they're showing this as a 30 millimeter fan, but just be aware of that. This is slightly thicker than your standard fan. Now the power for the lighting and the fan speed itself is a proprietary connection that is specific to this controller. The fans will not connect to any other hub other than the included one. But that's going to be a con for this particular kit, is if that controller goes bad, you're going to lose the ability to power all of these fans. The cable length is right at 17 inches from the fan itself to the connector. The included Molex power cable is 12 inches in length, so keep that in mind when you're kind of designing and figuring out where to put the controller. It's a little bit tight on space, so in some of the larger cases, this might not be a great fit. Now, this is not an RGB fan that you can control. Basically, it's got one little strip of LEDs to draw the designs around here. Now, the lights are only on one blade, and I don't see any other counterweight on the other side to try to balance that out. I would imagine just the way that the blades are in here, they've put that in a place where it's kind of a balanced fan blade anyways, but we'll be able to tell that when we run this fan. Now, on all 4 sides of this fan, the VRGB logo is carved out of the side here. Also included with each fan, of course, is the 4 mounting screws. Now, the controller is a Molex style powered controller. The controller itself is just plastic construction, but overall it looks decent enough. It's got room for 8 of these fan connections, and then on the other side here, it's got your power connection. And there is a small instruction sheet here that just gives you a generic idea of how to connect everything up. So first things first, the unique draw to this fan is the lighting effect itself. In real life, there's not as much flickering as what you're seeing on the camera. It is kind of a solid shape. Unfortunately, on the camera, it does induce a little bit more flickering there. Now, starting with the center hub, there are 3 LEDs on that, and it's kind of got that halo effect. So once the fan is spinning with those 3 LEDs, it kind of gives you this vortex cone effect. The center hub is the only part of this that will change colors, just a couple of colors that it will cycle through. Now, the rest of the fan blade on the outer and inner edge is just kind of an orange line. That's always on, it's always the same color, you can't change it. Now, the animation is always going to be green. Again, you can't change that, you can't really change anything about it. There's just a small handful of animations that the controller will cycle through. It's just one after another. They might last 8 to 10 seconds, something like that, before it will cycle in the next one. So talking about the button on the controller, that just simply ushers in the new animation. Basically, once you hit it, it'll animate out the existing one and then animate in the new one. So it's not even an immediate change. In fact, I had to hit it a few times to realize that it was doing anything. You can't change the speed of the animations. You can't change the color of the animation. You can't turn the lighting off on the animation. So essentially, in my opinion, the button on the controller is useless, because once you get this installed, unless you set this on the outside somewhere, you're not going to be reaching into your case to kind of hit this button just to usher in a new animation. I do find the lighting on this to be kind of difficult to look at. In real life, there is a bit of flickering to it, and that's just kind of the way that this operates. As the fan blade moves around, it's just flickering those LEDs to give you this animation. And because of that, there's just inherently a little bit of flickering here. Now, the animation looks pretty cool overall. There is a little bit of artifacting in it. It looks like just like one point on each fan, there's a place where it just kind of overlaps a little bit. Now, I'm not sure that it's all just flickering of the LEDs that's bothersome to me. When I really kind of stare at it, what I think it is maybe a vibration in the fan itself. All 3 of them do it. There's maybe just a very small amount of vibration as that blade's moving around, kind of variance in it. And that just kind of creates this maybe just ever so slightly blurriness to it. Anyways, I just find it to be kind of unpleasant to look at, if I'm being honest. Now, the lighting from the rear of the fan, you really can't hardly see the animation at all. However, you do get a little bit of a reflection back off of the blade, and it does kind of look pretty cool. There is just like this very faint ghosting of the animation that's taking place. So it doesn't look terrible, but it really is not noticeable. I wouldn't buy these with any expectation that through the rear of the fan that you're really going to see much lighting at all. Now the first problem with these fans really isn't a con, but it's just kind of going to be an inherent problem with the way that you have to position these fans, because you're buying these for the lighting effect, which really forces you that you're going to have to put the front of the fan to face wherever you want this lighting effect. And that's going to force you to think about where you want your airflows to go, because this really is just a standard fan. There's no reverse version of this fan as far as I'm aware of. Just be aware of that. If this is a fan you are seriously considering, you may find yourself kind of locked into which orientation you're going to position it. Now the second problem with this fan, and maybe it's not really a problem, is these fans are going to run at full speed, 1,650 RPM. Now it needs to do that in order to get this animation to flow. But because it's running full speed all the time, you can hear them. They're not the noisiest fans I've ever heard, but they're not the quietest for sure. Now they do move air, there's no arguing that. So for just a basic simple case fan, I don't have any real major concerns. They're not setting any records. It's not going to be the best fan out there. But for a basic build, these are going to move air. I don't think you'll have any real major cooling problems with it. Now, I don't know what the longevity of this fan is. It doesn't list a bearing type or anything like that, and I'm not going to try to pull it apart and try to figure it out. But for just a basic fan to move some air, these do that job okay. So everything told, I've had a lot of fun looking at these. I've seen these out there for a little bit, and it's kind of fun to look at them in person. Any of this persistence of vision technology, I'm kind of a sucker for anything gadgety, especially on PCs. So it's been a lot of fun to look at this. But these fans aren't going to find a home on any regular PC of mine. But I'm thinking about maybe kind of using these in some sort of like RGB crazy build just for fun with one of the tower cases over here. Because at the end of the day, they do look cool. They would draw a crowd if you were to stick these out. People would look at them for a little bit, but the novelty is going to quickly wear off. So if these were sitting on your desk, I think you'd be wishing that you could turn the lights off after about 5 minutes at the most, and you would want to just turn them on when people came by. Now I've seen some other fans out there that do a similar thing, and they're just kind of like full motion video that you can kind of change the video it looks like on the controller. Maybe I'll take a look at those, but I kind of expect they're going to fall in the same category of not real serious fans, kind of more of a gimmicky, fun type thing to mess around with. I'm not aware of a whole lot of product out there that's similar to this, at least as far as PC fans go. But let me know in the comments below if you're aware of any other fans out there that are similar to this. I've just seen a couple of them out there. But that'll wrap it up for today. Thanks for watching.